Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is taken from a normal game. This is early on in the first full patch for Teamfight Tactics. We were on a very lengthy patch over the holidays. This is the first official patch to be released after that. And in this game we're going to be looking at one of the most dominant units here in the new patch, that being Misfortune, and also get a little bit of the Underground trait, which is not something that I typically play into. But we'll get a chance to look at that, and just ends up being a pretty entertaining game all around. Normal game, not double up for a change, not a ranked game. I wanted to get a little bit more practice on this patch before jumping back into ranked play, and I actually think this patch is pretty poorly balanced overall, so I'm not exactly super eager to dive back into the ranked games. Sooner or later, I'll have to play some more of them because I think this account is only gold at the moment. But yeah, we'll get back to that. Anyway, so what's going on here? Well, I continue to take my favorite starting item, the belt, off the initial carousel. And then I end up getting this, and I was like, you know what? I can actually get to 10 gold here if I just sell everything. I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do that. I just have a Poppy and a Wukong. I'm just going to get to 10 gold here. It's hard to do this. You have to get an awful lot of gold, so I'm pretty confident that this is a 2-item start, or else I would not have been able to get this much gold here. And then I'm going to end up getting a tier. So it's like, okay. So I probably just have a belt and a tier start. Now, as far as what I'm picking up in terms of champions, I haven't really gotten a whole lot here. I do see that there's both a Kale and a Vi. By the way, if I had bought up the board earlier, I would have had a 2-star Kale already. So that's the trade-off. I did get an additional gold coin of interest by getting to 10 gold, but the trade-off was that I was not able to get that 2-star Kale. Typically, I would not look to play into an underground start, but I did get the Vi. I figured I would pick that up. And then I'm either going to get an item or a champion. I was like, oh, okay, well, let's grab the Blitzcrank, let's grab the Kale, and that gives me a little bit more options here as far as what I'm going to play. I have a tier, so I'm thinking this is probably a spell casting comp of some kind. Could take preparation. I was like, I'll just go ahead and take Ludens here instead. And now I have an Ezreal in my store as well, so I was like, you know, I usually don't look to play Underground, but I really do have a good start for Underground here. I can go ahead and level. I can play the Ezreal alongside the Kale. I can put the tier on Ezreal, and Ezreal can hold AP items for right now if I want. And we'll just put this belt on Vi. So we have Underground in just from the start of the game, and it's not like a crippled Underground setup or anything. This is actually a pretty solid Underground setup. Like, I wouldn't say my board is like super strong, but this is not that weak of a board either. Brawler, frontline, Underground, backline. And, oh, by the way, someone apparently already has the new stage that they added in the patch. That's the Lunar Festival Year of the Rabbit. We're going into the Year of the Rabbit for this upcoming new Lunar New Year. And so they have a stage that's like rabbit themed. Last year it was the Year of the Tiger, and so we had tiger theming. The tiger theming, I think, a little bit more interesting. But, you know, you can't control what year of the Zodiac it is. Anyway, so this round, I was never going to win. This person has 3 2-star units. They took true 2s, I think, for their initial augment, which gives you a 2-cost 2-star and a 1-cost 2-star. So that board's going to be super strong early game. Good news is that augment falls off super hard as the game goes on because it just gives you a burst of early game strength and then doesn't do anything after that. All right, so we're playing Underground. Underground is the economic trait here in set 8. Set 7 had like 4 different economic traits, but set 8 really only has the one in the form of Underground. And it is a high-risk, high-reward setup. It gives you no in-combat advantage whatsoever, but you get these like safe locks that build up over time. And when you get to 10 locks, you can cash out, or you can opt to keep the heist going to get bigger rewards. You get 2 locks on a win, or 2 vault locks on a win, and then 3 after a loss. And if you go up to Underground 5, it like basically doubles. You get 3 for a win and 5 for a loss. Underground 5, you typically do not see anyone playing. Underground 5, you really would not play unless you got like an Underground emblem out of a Tome of Traits or something like that. Anyway, so this fight, we're going to see how many units we can kill. I'm pretty sure I can't win this one either. I would love it if I could get 1 more unit kill. Kale, can you finish off the Galio? No, we can't manage to finish that off. So 2 losses, not especially good losses. I've taken 14 damage already. but at least I have gotten some additional underground stacks. This is better though. I'm gonna get the Kale 2-star here. I also can potentially get to 20 gold if I win this round, so I actually would like to win this one. If I lose this round, I'll go ahead and pick up the Riven. Maybe I can make use of that. Or actually, no, I just went ahead and sold the Renekton. Okay, that makes sense as well. I just sold the Renekton, so I'd be guaranteed to get 20 gold. That way I'll be at 20 no matter what. If I win this round, then I can pick up the Ashe, and that'll give me a recon unit. I wouldn't say recon is too significant as far as a trait that I'm playing through right now, but, you know, it would be better than nothing. And this is a board I might actually be able to beat. This person has a Talon, I guess, for Ox-Force, and just like some random units. They don't really have a whole lot. Vi also got off a really nice ult there. So is there any chance we can win this one? Let's see. It's reasonably close right now. And Blitzcrank, yeah, it looks like if we can kill the Talon once the Ox-Force wears off, there we go. So it looks like we've got this. Annie 2-star, but Annie doesn't really do damage. She's basically just a tank. I don't think she can kill everything here. And Blitz is just standing up there tanking. Also, we're going to go into overtime where damage is increased, so we should be able to get this. Come on, there we go. Actually did manage to win that one. Looks like Annie's Ox-Force had been triggered earlier, because she did not end up, she just ended up dying there. All right, well, that's quite good. And I also get first pick off of this carousel, so I was trying to figure out, what do I want here? And I was like, I don't know what unit I'm going to be playing into. I think the choices were maybe the tier in order to make a blue buff on Ezreal, but that would pretty much lock me into a Soraka comp. Blue buff has gone down in priority very, very highly in this patch. Prior to this, in the Yuumi patch that we were on for ages, blue buff was super popular because you'd play it on Yuumi, also very good on Soraka. Lesser a priority now, not nearly so much of a priority now. Anyway, so I just take the chain vest so that I can make a Sunfire cape. I'll just go ahead and do that. I also have a Zoe. Now, Zoe does not make any traits, but I'm still going to hold her on the board anyway because I think I want to play into this unit long term. My plan is I think I want to try to go into Soraka just because I have Ludens, and Ludens synergizes really well with Soraka. I also have a tier. If I can get another tier for blue buff, I'll have a nice item to put onto Soraka. I can also look to play Sona, and Sona's an underground champion, and Sona also then leads into Soraka as well. So that was my thinking. Soraka has gone down in popularity a lot in this patch. People like to play Soraka with the Jax Bruisers comp, and that's not really a viable comp anymore. It was nerfed super duper hard. So Soraka should be relatively uncontested in this particular patch setup. Now you might be saying, well, doesn't sound like you're going to play Misfortune if that's the case. Isn't this a Misfortune game? Well, we'll get to that down the road. Don't worry. We will get to that down the road, as I said. Anyway, so that does, I end up winning that round. I now have 2 losses, 2 wins. That gets me 10 stacks on the underground trait, so I can opt to cash out here for a minor reward or keep the heist going. And I was like, needlessly large rod, 5 gold. I think I can do better than that. We'll keep the heist going. Also, look at this. I'm going to hit Blitz 2-star. And I hit Ashe 2-star, and then I have another Zoe and another Ezreal in the shop. I was like, well, you know, I was playing Zoe because I think Zoe's better than Ashe, but I think Ashe 2-star is better than Zoe 1-star, and a Zoe that makes no traits whatsoever. So I'll put Ashe in for recon trait. And again, I think my board is reasonably decent, even though I'm playing Underground trait, and Underground, of course, does not give you any in-combat advantage. I've got the Brawler frontline. Hopefully I can hit another Vi for Vi 2-star, but I've got a Vi with a Sunfire cape. Blitzcrank does no damage at all, but he is a very good tank. As a 2-star tank, he'll actually stand up there for quite some time, soaking up damage. And then 2-star Kale, 2-star Ashe, again, both will fall off really hard as the game goes on. But they're pretty solid for this stage of the game. By the way, this person has no gold on their bench at all. They have 0 gold in the bank. So I'm pretty happy if I can beat this person's board, because they've kind of gone all in with their economy at a very early date. And they kind of need to keep win streaking if that's their plan. What's not so great is there are 2 players in this game that are still on 100 HP. Neither of them have lost. Neither of them have hit each other just yet. Okay, so my next unit to go in was planned to be the Zoe. Again, I have 2 out of 3 Zoes. I also thought maybe if I made a blue buff, I could transfer this item over to Zoe. But then I find a Vayne in the store, and I was like, Vayne is actually a really good unit to play next, because she's going to make the Duelist trait and give me 3 recon. The bump from 2 recon to 3 recon is really huge. 2 recon gives your units 20% crit chance. Recon 3 goes to 75% crit chance, so it like almost quadruples the benefit. So it's a big jump to go up to that. So I was like, all right, I think Vayne has to be the next unit in. So I still got these Zoes. I still want to play Zoe, so I'm going to still hold on to her. But it is a unit that is going to cost me a lot of gold. I think I want to play this unit, so I'm hesitant to sell. Anyway, these items are not quite what I'm looking for. I get a bow and a belt and then a cloak. So decent tank items here, but they don't really have a lot of synergy. I also did not get any gold there. But that's not surprising because I got so much gold earlier in the game. So I'm going to make a move that really defines the plan for my game. I'm going to go ahead and make a Zerat portal with the belt plus bow. This basically commits me to playing some kind of comp that's going to be spellcasting with that tier, because otherwise I would have wanted to use the bow on an auto attacker. So I'm basically planning on avoiding auto attacking comps. So not going into Vayne, not going into Kaisa, not looking to play any of those units that are auto attack based focused, and pretty much have limited my options to a spellcasting comp. Now, that said, I don't think that this was a bad move. It does limit my options, but it definitely makes me stronger in the short run, because my biggest weakness right now is frontline. I don't have a lot of frontline, so making the Zerat portal really is going to help in that regard, because it just gives me another minion to stand up there and soak damage. So I've made my board stronger, at least in the short run. Maybe weaker in the long run, but it's hard to say. If I am playing into Soraka, having the Zerat portal is actually going to be pretty helpful, because Soraka tends to be a stall comp. You want to stall for her to get stacks with the heart trait and get stronger over time. So, as I said, I've limited my options, but I don't think that was necessarily the worst call. All right, out of these options, I'm going to take Jeweled Lotus, because, again, I'm planning on playing a spellcasting comp. I've got Jeweled Lotus plus Luden's Echo. These are very heavily spellcasting augments. So I definitely need to now itemize towards a spellcasting team comp and continue along the path I've taken. Taking Luden's kind of set my path early on in the game. Well, somewhat unexpectedly, I am actually win streaking here. I'm on a 4-match win streak. This has gone really well from an economic perspective. I lost the first 2 rounds, but then I was able to win the next 4. I'm hoping I can avoid this person wheels and deals, because they are already level 7. They are the person who took the augment that gave them the 2-cost 2-star and a 1-cost 2-star at the start of the game, and they've just been basically playing tempo off of that from early on. They have 2 economic augments, so unfortunately I am going to hit them, and equally unfortunately they've already found Samira. So it's just like, yeah, this person has just gotten out in front of the pace of the lobby. By the way, I mean that they're just like, they kind of got out in front of us economically, and they've been win streaking, and that's been feeding them even more money. And it's like, my board I think is not bad, but I can't keep up with this. They also have Rich Get Richer, so they have no combat augments at all, which is always a little dangerous, but they have so much money. Like, they're already level 7, 30 gold. I'm level 6, 30 gold, so they're like 35 gold ahead of me right now. And they're just going to probably be looking to fast 9 and just play a bunch of legendary units. Maybe they're probably going to play into Samira, because they already have one. But yeah, that's going to be a problem in this lobby. That person looks like they're going to be really strong, and it's going to be tough keeping pace with them. Basically, I have to hope that I can get something big from my underground cash out, and that'll help me try to catch up to that person who otherwise is kind of dominating the lobby. Now, this is a normal game, so you do see some weird stuff sometimes. Like, look at this person, Mayo May. I think I just cycled past them. They have Clear Mind, which is the augment that gives you XP for having an empty bench, but they don't actually have an empty bench. They have units on their bench. Yeah, I'm actually hitting them this round, so this is good timing to talk about them. They have Clear Mind, but they don't have an empty bench. They're also apparently trying to play Yuumi Reroll, which you definitely don't want to do if Clear Mind is your first augment choice, because you're always going to have a full bench if you're playing that as you try to go for 3 stars. Also, Yuumi Reroll was absolutely decimated in the patch that came out. It is really not viable. I guess if you get a totally uncontested setup for it, maybe you can look to play it, but Yuumi Reroll basically went from being like pretty much the strongest comp in the game, or very close to that, into being something that was absolute garbage tier. Yuumi was nerfed, Mascot Trait was nerfed, Galio was nerfed, Yumi's carry augment was nerfed, Blue Battery was taken out of the game. It's just like everything that made that comp strong got nerfed, so not really viable again, and that person's basically drawing dead in the water because their augment is not doing anything for them, and they're level 6 with 0 gold in the bank, and they're not close to 3-starring anything. So yeah, not looking so great for them right now. All right, so since I've been able to get a bunch of frontline items, next up I want to try to itemize some actual damage dealers. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the tier. This will lock down a blue buff for what I hope will be a future Soraka. And I'll put it on Ezreal, and blue buff is not bad on Ezreal. I believe his mana cost is 55 at the moment, So he makes reasonably good use of this. And then, oh, what's this? We have a misfortune in the shop. Well, I was not planning on playing into a misfortune, but I feel like I need to make use of this unit. I'm just like, all right, I do have Jeweled Lotus, which is going to be really good on MF. It's going to allow her ultimate to crit. I was like, so do I just play this unit over something? I was like, I think this is better than the Vayne, even though this does cost me a rank of Recon. I dropped down to Recon 2. I also lose Duelist trait. I was like, I think it's still worthwhile to play this unit, though. And the reason for that is that Misfortune was buffed in this patch. And Misfortune is now very overtuned. This is a very overpowered unit now, especially if you can buff it up with things like, as I said, I have the Jeweled Lotus, so her spell can crit even with nothing else. Now, ideally, you'd want to get like a Spear of Shojin on her. That's kind of her key item so that she will actually cast more often. I don't have that, unfortunately. But yeah, MF is really good. Also, this person in the chat saying super suck now. It's like, yes, they do. They were nerfed super duper hard. Anyway, so MF's going to try to get her ult off and not going to do a whole lot right there. Do we have enough to win this fight? It is down to just Ashe against Vi. I don't think that Ashe has this, even with Recon trait to dash away. Not quite enough to beat that person. So we do come up a little bit short there, but hey, at least I get a few more underground stacks. All right, I get my second underground cash up. Can take a Thief's Glove and Static Shiv and a Reforger. Again, not bad. Static Shiv is actually very good on Misfortune as an item, but I was like, you know what? Let's go one more. I'm on 72 health. I think that I can make it. Also note that I'm already at 2 out of 10 stacks towards the next cash out, so I'm already like 20% of the way there. That's probably like one round less that I have to run this. So I can run this for a couple more rounds, but we definitely have to stop at the 3 cash out now, just hoping that I get something good. All right, so Misfortune again. She was buffed in a couple different ways in this patch. She was buffed because they increased the benefit of the Ace trait. Ace is a trait that executes enemies at low health. It was previously 12%. They buffed it up to 15%, so now it executes enemies under 15%. But more significantly, Misfortune got stronger because they improved her targeting AI. Previously, Misfortune would just kind of cast her ult randomly at anything. Now she specifically targets the biggest clump of enemy units. And she also has a faster turning speed on her ultimate, so she can kind of swing it around more quickly. The net effect of those buffs is she is a much, much stronger unit than she was before. She is much better at actually shooting at where you want her to go, and she wastes a lot fewer of her ults just firing at nothing. So overall, she's a much stronger unit, and she's also very strong into a 4 aces board. Now, I'm not going to end up playing 4 aces in this game, but it has emerged as one of the top comps that people can play. It was around in the previous patch, but people didn't really run too much of it. 4 aces is an execute on anything that's under 30% of max HP, so it's a very strong execute. And it also plays into, well, you have to have all 4 ace units, but all of them are relatively strong. You have you have Misfortune, you have Samira, who's also very strong in this patch, and then you also have Mordekaiser as well. The last unit is Draven, but Draven can be played into Mech, and Mech Set is very popular in this. So you can have the Set Mech for frontline, and then Draven gets sacrificed for the Mech, and then Draven also puts Ace trait in play for 4 aces, and that's been super popular in this patch. All right, so I go ahead and level to level 7. I'm going to put Vayne back in. Again, I've been holding these Zoes the whole game. These Zoes have cost me an awful lot of econ, so I really am hoping that I'm going to use these units later on. If not, this has been a terrible drain on my econ so far. All right, so here is the Set Mech. You're seeing this, and look at what the Set does. The Set punches the backlines and almost kills my entire backline. So, and the second cast does kill most of my backline. So this is part of the reason of why the Set is really overpowered. Set got buffed in this particular patch. By the way, look at this. Oh, MF's gonna fire at Samira, but she stops. Why did she stop? Well, Edge of Night kicks in. Yeah, the Edge of Night triggers, and so Misfortune starts angling her ult not to hit Samira anymore. Kind of a sad way to lose that round. I was like, oh, really? Really? But yeah, Edge of Night, not good item sometimes. All right, so we've got a champion augment. I don't like any of these, and then I reroll and I get, oh, it's the MF carry augment. Gain a Misfortune. Her ability, well, I went past that kind of fast. I'll read the formal description here off of the cheat sheet. This is the Misfortune carry augment. Where is that? All right, here we go. Bunny Mercenary. Gain a Misfortune. Her ability covers a wider cone, and she gains a 250 health shield while channeling. So that also does get me to 2 out of 3 MFs, which is not bad. Also, while that was going on, I went ahead and picked my admin, and I actually got a very useful admin. The admin was, I think it was gain ability power on kill. So when your admin units kill a unit, they gain ability power. That's actually new in this patch. The on-kill things were not in the game previously for the admin trait, and they actually can be quite strong. So for example, if you're playing Camille as your carry, you can gain AD on kill, which is really good for Camille. Or if you're going to play Soraka like I'm planning to do, you can gain AP on kill. So every time Soraka kills a unit, she gets more AP. So it's like another version of the heart trait that stacks throughout the fight. All right, so we're up against someone who's playing Anima Squad Belveth. And so yeah, they're going to end up powering through my board. And I am starting to lose a good bit of health, so I do need to start converting out of the underground and into more of a late game setup. But I actually have gotten to 10 stacks, so now I can take the third cash out. And what do we have here? Oh, look at this. We've got a Loot Orb, a Thief's Glove, we've got a Warmogs. All of this stuff sounds really good. And we also managed to hit Zoe 2-stars. So, all right, we need to start converting over our board, get rid of these underground units. Zach, you go in for more frontline. Zoe, you're a 2-star. Let's get you in there. And now I can play another unit as well. What do I want to put in there? I should probably take out Ashe in favor of LeBlanc. I've also got some units. So Warmogs, you can go on Zach. We can put the blue buff on Zoe. And Zoe can just hold items for Soraka. I've also got an Obsidian Cleaver. I was like, oh, that's actually pretty nice. I'm going to Thief's Glove the Misfortune. So this does mean my team's going to be pretty dependent on what items the Misfortune rolls. But this way I can like get good value out of MF without having to put any more items on her. She doesn't roll especially amazing items this round, but the rapid fire cannon's not terrible just to give her additional attack speed so that she'll cast a little bit sooner. And remember, she has Jeweled Gauntlet. Oh, the other thing is the Thief's Glove actually makes sense here too, because I have Jeweled Gauntlet. Her spell has the ability to crit, and the Thief's Glove does give a lot of crit chance. I believe it gets 40% crit chance, and then I get another 20% from my Augment. Plus you have base like 20% to crit, so it actually synergizes quite well with the Jeweled Lotus. That's the name I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm trying to find other stuff, and I was like, ah, cool. I've got a glove on my bench. I can take a rod. That can be a Jeweled Gauntlet. Again, I don't need a Jeweled Gauntlet because I already have Jeweled Lotus, but I've got this glove. I don't really have anything else to use on it. I think this is the best way I can make use of this glove. And then, oh, Misfortune 2-star. And then, oh, Soraka. So remember how I carried that Zoe like the entire game? Yeah, I played Zoe for like 2 rounds and then converted over to Soraka. So that was a little bit sad, but I really did want to get Soraka on my board because I want to get that admin trait in play. Again, adds ability power on kill. And then I also have this stupid Ashe on the board that I can get rid of. So, well, again, we're continuing to move out of this. And then I was like, I guess I probably should just level and play another unit since I'm at 52 out of 56 XP. But basically, I'm just transitioning my board right now. So it's a little bit wonky. I have the 3 admin. Yeah, on kill, the killer will gain 25 ability power for the rest of combat. Again, I'm not done transitioning my board. I also would like to move out of the Vi. I can find a better person to hold these tank items. Zach would be a better holder of these items. Maybe someone else as well. And jeez, look at Misfortune. She actually rolled Static Shiv, which is one of her best items right now. And again, she's got all that crit chance, the Jeweled Lotus, so she has the ability for ult to crit. And you might say, wait a minute, why did you level there? Well, I leveled there because I wanted to get the level 8 shop on the roll. I always figured it was worthwhile to pay 1 gold to get a level 8 shop instead of a level 7 shop on this flop of champions. Didn't end up getting anything all that amazing, but as I said, I do think that was probably worthwhile to do. And I can toss in Alistair for Aegis trait. Actually gave me mascot trait as well. Probably should have left that in. I think that was maybe better than the Rammus, but I've changed my mind. I actually did get mascot and Aegis trait, which is probably better than a 1-star Rammus with no items. Oh well. So yeah, lobby is already constricting pretty quickly. 1 person's already out of the game, 2 people on single-digit HP. Although I believe the person that's out of the game actually quit the lobby because they were the person who was like super suck now and then just quit the lobby. This person's running a threat board with Axiom Arc. So the danger here is if the Aurelian Soul kills units with Axiom Arc, he will gain mana and then can spellcast again. If you're wondering how this unit keeps casting so fast over and over again, that's the Axiom Arc triggering over and over and over again. So now it's down to just Soraka and MF. Can they actually win this fight? Again, Soraka's up to some crazy ability power amount, so it's largely just to MF. Can she twist the ult over? Yes, actually. Oh my goodness, you might be like, wow, okay. Yeah, Misfortune, a little overpowered in this patch. Actually, a lot overpowered in this patch. So, by the way, now I'm going to try to find more Zoes, and I'm going to keep rolling, and then, oh, Fiddlesticks, okay. Well, we're definitely going to play that. Speaking of units that are overtuned in this patch, Fiddlesticks also very overtuned in this patch. And then I also have a Sona, so I should replace the Yumi with the Sona. Sona's just a better unit right there. We wouldn't mind getting up to 4 heart, but we'll just have to see what we can hit here. I'm going to try to roll down and see what I can get. I definitely want to hit Soraka 2-star. If I could hit Soraka 2-star, I might be willing to go to level 9. And then, by the way, here, I've got a sword, and I was like, this is slightly disappointing. I wish I could actually... Now I kind of wish I could put items on the MF, but I can't actually do that right now. All right, so we hit a Vi 2-star, so that is going to give me the option to shuffle some of this around. I'm going to play the Sona. I also can sell Vi, and then put Vi back in, potentially. But I'd like to put some of these items on the Zac, who I think is a better tank. And then we could just put the Zerat portal there. Also have a Mordekaiser I could play too, but I actually lose Ace trait when I put that unit in. So I was like, oh, I actually don't want to play that unit, because I just lost the Ace trait by doing that. Although I don't think I realized that until the start of the next round. So we definitely need to keep that in play. I'm going to go ahead and make this Zeke's. But positioning is not right. I'm still transitioning my board right now, but I'm trying to see what I can hit here. And I was like, do I end up playing Zoe? Zoe would give me Prankster trait if I play the Echo up on the front lines. There's the Mordekaiser. But again, I lost Ace trait, so I don't have the Execute. Still, looks like I'm stronger than this person. So my board feels like it's in pretty good shape. I really just want to hit the 2-star Soraka. I do think that getting that underground cash out really helped me because I've got a lot of items out of that. And then there's an Urgot as well. I was like, oh, geez, okay, Urgot? Man, I'm hitting a lot of these legendary units here. So again, I want to hit Soraka 2-star, but if I can hit that quickly, there's another Misfortune, but I can't use that. It's like, there's another Echo. Do we play the Echo then? Let's see what we can potentially hit. There's a Syndra. Well, oh, I went past the Syndra. That would have been better than the Soraka. Should have just taken out the Soraka and played Syndra. That's a pretty big mistake there. All right, so I managed to hit the 2-star Raka. So now I think we just go to level 9 off this board. So I'm playing Urgot and I'm also playing Fiddlesticks, and both of them got buffed a lot in this patch. Like, a lot. They are very, very strong. The Fiddlesticks got buffed in like 3 different ways. They increased his damage. They increased when how quickly he goes off in the fights, like how long it takes for him to use his ultimate. And they lowered his mana cost, so after he ults, he has a better odds of ulting again. As for Urgot, they increased the chance that he will produce treasure for your team. So like he just produced me a belt there, which is going to be nice. And now I'm trying to look at these different things. I was like, I think so I need to keep Blitz on the board because he's giving me the admin trait. But can I do better than Zac? I think Zac is the best I can do for right now. But I'm looking at these and I was like, all right, I'm just going to clear my bench so I can try to get to level 9. I would like to play Leona if I can get to level 9. Then I have this extra belt. I probably should hold the belt because I might get another component from Urgot. But we'll go ahead and put it on Vi. As I said, it might have been better just to hold that component. Well, we've cycled back around to the person who's playing the Aurelian Soul with Axiom Arc again. And their comp has not really gotten much stronger. My comp has actually gotten a lot stronger since then because I've been able to get some of these more legendary units in. So I'm hoping that I can win this. I did win this the last time I hit this board. But, oh no. Looks like Axiom Arc ended up just having better RNG that time around. That's a little bit unfortunate. I actually thought that I was going to win that round and knock them out. But nope, they're on 1 HP. I'm really hoping they don't manage to 3-star the Aurelian Soul. They are still quite a ways away, but hoping that they don't have the chance to do that. All right, so we have another carousel here, and out of these different options, the heart emblem is somewhat tempting. Of course, it gets taken right away. So out of these options, I was like, you know what? Let's just take the Spear of Shojin. Again, I would love to put this on Misfortune, but I can't get the Thief's Glove off of her now. It's a bit of a shame, but oh well. So instead, I'm going to look to itemize the Urgot instead. I have this Urgot here. I want him to cast more often. Spear of Shojin's one of his better items so that he casts more frequently. And again, we're just trying to get to level 9, and we're hoping to play more legendary units there. So we'll see what happens. I definitely can upgrade from the Soraka. Soraka should have been replaced by Syndra. That was a big mistake there. But I want to get to level 9 and just play more legendaries. They really increased the strength of several of the legendary units. In particular, the Fiddlesticks and the Urgot were the 2 that got stronger. So somewhat unfortunately, now you pretty much just want to play these units whenever they pop up in any team composition. And I don't think that that's great for the health of the game. It's perfectly fine for legendary units to be strong. Like, that's not a bad thing. But I don't think it's good when it's the threat legendaries that are strong. Again, the threat legendaries being Urgot and Fiddlesticks. Just because they can be played on literally any board is not ideal. It's not great to have units that can just be played in any team comp. By the way, MF's going to get her... she had a Gunblade, so she was able to heal, and that was the difference in that fight. Getting the Gunblade so that she healed on her ultimate. So it's a little bit like Misfortune being playable in almost any team comp. Like, look at this comp. This is not a Misfortune comp at all. And yet I was still able to put her in her comp just fine. Because she has the Ace trait, which means she can be played in pretty much any board as long as it's not with other aces. And she doesn't really need Anima Squad. I mean, it's not bad for her to have Anima Squad. Gives her additional AD and AP. But she's kind of playable on almost any board. So, like, you kind of have this patch where there's just, like, a handful of units, Misfortune, Samira, Set in particular, but also for Urgot and Fiddlesticks. You kind of have these units that are just strong in basically any board you might want. And so you just grab those units whenever they appear and just build teams around them, which is not that interesting. As I said, this is not a very well-balanced patch at all. If it hasn't been clear how strong the Misfortune is, well, hopefully this game is hoping to make it obvious. A little harder to tell the Urgot and the Fiddlesticks. I'm actually having kind of bad luck with Urgot. He's actually not rolling a lot of items on his tidal wave there. By the way, can Misfortune win this fight? She was about to ult and kill everything, but that person did get their Soraka to go off. So that's a little bit unfortunate. But I mean, hey, we'll be a level 9 after this minion round, and I should be able to get stronger there. If you're unfamiliar with Urgot, basically his ability, he puts a tidal wave on the board, and it knocks up enemy units and has a chance to create treasure. They buff the odds for the treasure to appear. So now Urgot's like a unit you pretty much always want to run whenever he pops up. I believe it's 25% odds for a treasure chest to appear now every time he hits a unit at 2-star. I think it's now 15% and 25% for 1-star. Yeah, apparently you can get it from the minions too. I didn't even know that was possible. But he was able to get a treasure chest here. The treasure chests usually contain 3 gold, but there is a chance for them to contain contain treasure. Okay, so out of these items, again, the Spear Shojin would be awesome on Misfortune, but I don't have that. So instead, I just opt to take another frontline item. All right, there's another Urgot, and there's another Leona. So we want to play Leona. That's a strong unit. It also gets us up to Aegis. And then I hit Tarek, Echo. I still think that this unit looks like Echo, or it looks like Tarek because of the purple armor. So now we're at 3 Aegis, and we managed to hit Leona 2-star as well. So we actually got a lot stronger there. Now, can I hit one more Urgot for Urgot? And then I actually do, and then I hit the Syndra. I was like, oh, get in there, Syndra. There we go. And now I can sell the Sona to pick up another Syndra. So now I'm close to hitting Syndra 2-star as well. So again, we're basically just playing the legendary soup board. Just want lots and lots of legendary units here. But Urgot created me 2 treasure chests. Gives me another component as well. Going to give me a cloak there. And then I still have Soraka still carrying most of the damage load. But now I've got all these legendary units contributing as well. So yeah, that feels pretty good. I'm going to buy the Zac in the hopes that it can get thrown in by the Syndra there. And look what I can do. I can actually make a Zephyr with this. Okay, not bad. So I was like, wait a minute. Can I just make 2-star Zac here? I can do that if I sell the Syndra. I was like, okay, cool. We're just going to hold 2-star Zac on my bench, and that way Syndra will be throwing in a 2-star Zac. That feels pretty good. Syndra's probably only going to get 1 cast off in these fights anyway. All right, so now we're down to the last 3 players. Again, I feel like my board is quite strong here, but let's see if I can manage to hit someone with my Zephyr. I was trying to hit the Set mech with my Zephyr here. I managed to get the Mordekaiser, which is not bad at all. So can we manage to defeat this board? Let's see. I actually have my Urgot on the wrong side, unfortunately, so I did not manage to get the tidal wave. And then this person is also playing Misfortune, so it looks like they got off a much better ult than me. As I said, I was on the wrong side. So yeah, they are going to punch through. I think they're playing a 4 aces board. Yes, they're playing 4 aces. I was like, that comp is pretty strong. I think I actually had to step away from the computer for a second here, which is why I wasn't positioning there. All right, so I'm back now. Going to grab a little bit of extra gold. Let's see if we can hit anything. And unfortunately, I'm up against this same board again, so I would like to hit the Set mech, but I definitely need Urgot to be on the right-hand side so that he has the chance to hit that big clump of units with his tidal wave. So they're playing 4 aces, which is very dangerous. I need to stop this MF from casting if at all possible. So I'm going to move my Zephyr here. Unfortunately, the Zephyr is going to whiff because this person moved their Samira and Misfortune over to the other side at the last second. That's a bit unfortunate here. So we're going to need to get good fight RNG here. Misfortune gets off a good ult. And oof, nope. Nope, doesn't look like I have enough here. Their board looks like it's stronger. So yeah, 4 aces, just a little bit too good. Now, do I have enough health to survive this? And oof, just barely enough. 4 HP. Okay. Well, we need to try to get something off this carousel that's going to help us out here. So I was like, what can I do with this particular carousel here? I was like, you know what? Let's just take this Prankster crest. I feel like Prankster is going to help a lot. It's going to give us that additional front line. We can put this on, I think, like the Leona or the Blitzcrank. And hopefully that'll be enough to just give us that little bit of additional front line. All right, there's another Fiddlesticks. And I'm going to keep rolling here. And then, oh, I have 2-star Fiddles in my shop. Okay, I have to buy that. I'm going to sell the Zac, which is a little bit unfortunate. But I can now have Syndra throw in an extra Leona. So that actually should be pretty decent. Okay, so we need to put the Prankster trait on a frontliner. All right, Blitzcrank, go ahead and take that. And I'm up against the 6 Renegade player here. So I want my Zephyr to try to hit their Viego. I'm going to move that right here. Let's see if we can get that. They have some other strong units as well. They actually have a Renegade. They actually have Renegade Aphelios, but I think the Viego is the more important unit to take out with the Zephyr, just because I don't want him resetting all over the place. If I can kill a lot of the enemy team before he starts getting resets, that would be big. All right, we both have 2-star Fiddlesticks, which are both going off right now in the fight. I think his went off first, followed by mine second. And oof, looks like that's going to be enough if we can finish off the Aphelios. There we go. Close fight, close fight. And apparently one of us beat the 4 aces player. So now it's down to just me and the 4 aces player. I want to hold strong units on my bench for Leona to throw in. Okay, either a Leona or a Zac, either one getting thrown in is pretty strong. By the way, remember back to the early game where this person was so far out in front of the rest of the lobby? Yeah, they have carried that through to the entire game with their 4 aces board. They have a 2-star Mordekaiser, and they have that 2-star mech set frontline. But I'm hoping I can get this on the set mech. That's my hope, that I can get the knockup on that. And it looks like I missed. And I actually got the Leona instead, which is not as good of a target. But there is one thing in my advantage, though. And that's that this person, they have 2 augments that give no combat benefit. Rich Get Richer and True 2s. Whereas I have all combat augments. And it turns out that was the difference in this game. Being able to hit 2-star Leona, 2-star Fiddlesticks, 2-star Urgot, that was enough to prove the difference. And the fact that I had the Jeweled Lotus that allowed all my units to crit on their abilities ended up swinging this fight. So a really good game, really entertaining game. I was glad I was able to use Underground to get the cash out. I think I played Underground exactly the right amount of time, and I was able to overcome this other person's very strong board in the late game. Again, this is not a good patch. This is not a balanced patch. I'm looking forward to them fixing this. MF is way too strong, and it's just not a lot of fun. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this game. So until next time, thanks for watching, folks. Take care.